What happens when a man who has spent years building something he believes in decides to walk through the doors of his own creation, hidden behind nothing more than a simple disguise? A disguise meant to protect him from the truth he fears. Let's dive into this story and find out. Nathan Wilder was not a man who sought the spotlight. He wasn't someone who enjoyed public praise or the attention that came with being a successful businessman. But when Nathan opened Wilder's Place, his bar, it wasn't about the recognition. It was about creating something people would love. It was about building a community, a safe space for everyone to relax, unwind, and just be themselves. Nathan had worked his whole life to get to this point. He didn't grow up with silver spoons in his mouth or a golden ticket to success. No, Nathan was the kind of person who climbed his way up from nothing, working odd jobs, saving every penny, and hustling day after day until he finally had enough to invest in his dream. It took years, but Wilder's Place was his. It had his name on the sign, his vision behind the walls, and his heart in every glass served. But after 5 years of owning the bar, Nathan started noticing something unsettling. His employees, the people who worked for him day in and day out, seemed different. They weren't as enthusiastic as they used to be. The joy that once filled the air of Wilder's Place was slowly being replaced with indifference. There were whispers about him behind his back, and Nathan couldn't help but feel that maybe they weren't respecting his dream as much as they should. It was heartbreaking. Wilder's Place was more than just a business to Nathan. It was a reflection of his soul. He had poured everything into it, and now he felt like it was slipping from his grasp. The employees who once treated the bar as a second home now acted like they were just there for a paycheck. Nathan was no fool. He knew that if things continued down this path, his dream could crumble. But he also knew he couldn't just waltz in and confront his staff. If he did that, he'd never get the truth. People would only tell him what they thought he wanted to hear. He needed to know what was really going on behind the scenes. So, Nathan came up with a plan, an undercover plan. He decided to walk into his own bar, disguised, and see how the staff treated the customers when they didn't know he was the owner. What better way to uncover the truth? Nathan stood in front of the mirror, adjusting the fake mustache he had carefully placed on his face. The fake glasses added an extra layer of anonymity. He chuckled to himself as he looked at his reflection. He didn't recognize the person staring back at him, and that was exactly the point. He wanted to be invisible, just another face in the crowd. He took a deep breath and straightened his jacket. "This is it," he whispered under his breath. "Time to see the truth." Nathan walked out of his apartment and made his way to the bar. The walk felt different, almost surreal. He was used to the sound of laughter and music in the air, the familiar hum of his staff hustling behind the bar. But today, it felt empty, like he was walking into an unfamiliar place. As he pushed open the door of Wilder's Place, a bell jingled above him, and the warm glow of the bar's lights hit him in the face. The atmosphere was just as he remembered it, welcoming, cozy, and full of life. But as Nathan took a few steps inside, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The bar was busier than usual for a Tuesday night. People were laughing, chatting, and enjoying themselves. Nathan, blending in with the crowd, walked up to the bar. He took a seat at the far end, away from the staff, but still close enough to observe everything. It didn't take long for Nathan to spot his first issue. He watched as Sam, one of his longest-serving bartenders, served drinks without making eye contact with any of the customers. His movements were stiff, robotic. It was as if he was just going through the motions, mechanically handing out drinks. Nathan frowned. Sam had always been so full of energy, so passionate about his job. What had changed? Then there was Mark, the head bartender. Mark had always been the go-to guy for advice, for making sure everything ran smoothly. But tonight, he was nowhere to be found. Nathan watched as another employee, Chris, was running the show, looking overwhelmed and struggling to keep up. "Hey, how's it going?" Nathan said to Chris, his voice casual, trying to keep his tone natural. Chris looked up, a forced smile on his face. "Oh, hey! Everything's good, just, busy night." He quickly turned away, clearly trying to get away from the conversation. Nathan's stomach sank. The place he had built was becoming something he no longer recognized. It wasn't long before Nathan realized the problem was much deeper than just a few employees slacking off. He overheard a conversation between two of his staff members, and the words hit him like a punch in the gut. "I heard Nathan's getting soft," one of them said, a young guy named Luke who had only joined the team recently. "He's always busy, always leaving the place in our hands, but does he even know what's going on here? Who does he think he is, running a bar like this and letting everything fall apart?" Nathan froze. His heart stopped. He had always thought of himself as a hands-on owner, someone who cared deeply about his employees and his customers. But hearing those words made him realize that maybe he had been too distant, too consumed by his own responsibilities to see what was really happening behind the scenes. He wanted to confront them right then and there, but he knew it wouldn't do any good. They didn't even know who he was. He wasn't Nathan Wilder, the owner. He was just another customer to them. The truth was out there, plain and simple, and it hurt more than he had imagined. Nathan sat there for a while longer, contemplating what to do. He had a choice. He could expose himself as the owner and demand change, or he could leave the bar and never come back, letting it fall into the hands of people who no longer cared. But then, something inside him shifted. This wasn't just about the bar. It was about something deeper, about trust, respect, and the value of hard work. Nathan realized that if he wanted to save his dream, he couldn't just sit in the shadows anymore. He had to face the truth head on. With a deep sigh, Nathan stood up and walked toward the center of the bar. He approached Sam, who was standing behind the counter, looking distracted. "Sam," Nathan said, his voice quiet but firm. "It's me, Nathan. I'm the owner." Sam's eyes widened. He looked around as if he couldn't believe what he was hearing. The room went silent for a moment as everyone processed what had just happened. "I've been sitting here watching you all tonight," Nathan continued, "and it's clear to me that something is wrong. This place was built on passion, on community, and it's slipping away. We can fix this together, but we have to be honest with ourselves." There was a long pause, and then slowly Sam nodded. I'm sorry, Nathan. We've all been a little off lately." Nathan smiled, a weight lifting off his shoulders. "It's okay. We all get lost sometimes, but we have to find our way back. I'm willing to do whatever it takes if you all are." And with that, a new chapter began for Wilder's Place. In the end, Nathan's undercover mission wasn't about catching anyone in the act. It was about realizing that even the best dreams need constant care and attention. He understood that leadership wasn't about control. It was about trust, communication, and never giving up on the people who believed in your vision. Wilder's Place wasn't just a bar. It was a reminder that sometimes the truth hurts, but it can also set you free. That's the story, friends. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a pleasure sharing it with you all. Don't forget to comment below and let me know where you're watching from. It's always fun to see the global reach of these stories. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button for more amazing stories, tips, and tricks. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. If you'd like to show some extra love, tap the 3 dots near the share button and send a super thanks.